Hello and welcome to Whisky.com, where fine spirits meet. And today I'm at the middle of Islay, so there is no water inside. So how can there be a distillery? That's because we're at Kilchoman, and Kilchoman was established in 2005, and distilleries today are all supplied by truck and not by boat anymore. So there is no need to be next to the sea. Kilchoman is known to be the independent distillery and autonomous distillery. And how are they trying to do that? They try to only use the Islay barley that they grow on the farm that they just recently bought. And so the expressions 100% Islay means that all the barley was grown in Islay. Unfortunately, you can't grow that much barley on Islay, and Kilchoman has grown over the last years, so they actually have to use a bit of barley from outside. And how they do all the rest, we're gonna see today. I'm standing here in front of the kiln of Kilchoman, and Kilchoman does their own malting. And what they also do is farming. So they harvest the malt from around the distillery and spread it out on their malting floors. Unfortunately, the malting floors are in reconstruction, so we wouldn't like to show them to you. But this here is the kiln. So the fresh Islay peat gets shoveled in here, you light the fire, and then you smoke the germinated malt for 9 hours. And after that, it takes about 3 days for them to dry over hot air, and then the malt is ready for mashing. This mill here is the mill that is used to grind down the malt, and Kilchoman uses two kinds of malt. We have the first type is the barley that they grow here and then they malt here on their own. And the second one is malt from Port Ellen, because you can't grow enough barley on Islay itself. So this mill behind me is a very old mill, and it is older than the Kilchoman Distillery itself. Behind me is the mash tun. The mash tun is filled with 1.2 tons of the grist, and then you spray hot water on it. And let's have a look. Kilchoman does 3 washes. The third wash, the water doesn't have enough sugar and starch for the fermentation, so they pump it out into a separate tank, store it there, and then use the water in the next batch for the washing of for the first washing. So nothing is wasted here. What is also very interesting is that it's all done in manual labor. So all the equipment has to be read, and there's no computer monitoring everything. These are the wash bags, and they all hold 6,000 liters. That's about 1 mash tun, and to fill up 1 wash still, you need about half a wash bag. So you run the wash still twice, and then you have emptied 1 wash bag. It takes about 80 hours to ferment all the mass through, and then you are ending up with about roughly 7% alcohol for the distillation. Behind me is the wash still. It has a capacity of about 3,000 liters, and they just fill it up to about here so it doesn't bubble over, because if they would fill it up to here and they cook it, then all the bits would bubble up and would contaminate the whole system. So it's important not to fill too much in. So the wash still is pretty wide, which makes it a bit larger, and then you have a conical shape, and the line arm is falling, so everything that's condensing in the line arm is flowing right into the condenser and not back into the pot. And if we go past the spirit still, then we see here we have the spirit still. It is a bit smaller, it only has 2,070 liters, but for the character, the spirit still is very important, because it defines how the center cut or the middle cut is what character it has. And here we see we have a smaller still, and we have a reflux bowl. The reflux bowl increases the surface area where the fumes can interact with the copper, and that makes the whiskey milder. Also, you have a tall neck, and that lets the alcohol separate better, and you get a milder flavored whiskey, not like the Highland spicy whiskies. On top, we have a line arm that's falling, so everything condensing up there is running into a condenser and not back into the pot. After the distillation, the spirit is collected here, and they fill the barrels about twice a week. Before they fill the barrels, they reduce the strength to 63.5%. How does the filling work? You just roll on the barrel here, remove the transport bung, weigh the barrel, fill it, put in a new bung with one of these little sheets here, weigh it again, and that's important because you have to do the taxes, and everybody wants to know how much spirit has been barreled here. So after that, it's ready for maturation.
The Kilchoman Distillery has 2 warehouses, which contain about 4,000 barrels or casks of whiskey, and today's production is about 1,000 casks per year. They don't really know exactly the exact amount of barrels they have because they just introduced the barcoding this year. Most of the barrels here are from the Buffalo Trace Distillery in America.
So this is the bottling line of Kilchoman, and here you can fill 4 bottles at a time, and it's all done. The whole bottling process is done at the Kilchoman Distillery, and the final step is putting on the label, and then they put it on a pallet, wrap it round, and then it's off to the international market to be sold anywhere in the world.